Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because the American dream just hit a massive roadblock. It's exploding right in front of our eyes. Former President Donald Trump is absolutely losing it as general. Motors announces a devastating shutdown that's putting a staggering 50,000 jobs on the chopping block, all because his infamous trade war is backfiring spectacularly. You won't believe the chaos unfolding in Detroit and beyond, where factories are grinding to a halt. Families are staring down unemployment, and the entire auto industry is teetering on the edge of collapse. This isn't just a headline. It's a ticking time bomb that's about to detonate across the heartland, and I'm diving deep into every shocking detail to uncover how we got here and what it means for you. Let's rewind the clock to understand the firestorm that's brewing. Back when Trump first unleashed his trade war tactics, he promised it would bring jobs flooding back to America. Slapping tariffs on imports left and right to protect our workers, he stood tall, declaring victory over China and Mexico, vowing that companies like GM would thrive under his iron-fisted policies. But fast forward to today, August 2025, and the reality is a nightmare. GM, one of the giants of American manufacturing, is slamming the brakes on production across multiple plants, citing skyrocketing costs from those very tariffs that were supposed to save us. Imagine the scene: assembly lines silent, workers clocking out for what might be the last time, and suppliers scrambling as orders vanish overnight. But hold on, it gets worse. These tariffs aren't just nibbling at profits, they're devouring them whole, with GM reporting a potential $5 billion hit to earnings this year alone. It's billions evaporating, forcing shutdowns that ripple out to threaten not just 50,000 direct jobs at GM, but hundreds of thousands more in the supply chain: truckers, parts manufacturers, even the local diners where these folks grab lunch. Now, picture Trump in the Oval Office or wherever he's raging from these days, his face turning beet red as the news breaks. Sources close to the situation say he's gone absolutely nuts, firing off furious tweets and calls, blaming everyone from GM executives to foreign governments, but refusing to admit the obvious: his trade war is the culprit. Remember those bold claims about bringing manufacturing back? Instead of resurgence, we're seeing retreat. GM's plants in the U.S. are shutting down operations, shifting whatever they can to avoid the tariff storm. But it's too late. The damage is done. And it's not just GM. The entire sector is bleeding. Ford's reporting massive losses, UPS is axing 20,000 jobs, and the job market as a whole stalled with only 73,000 additions last month, way below expectations, all tied to this escalating trade fiasco. Trump's digging in, firing officials who dare report the bad news, but the numbers don't lie. Tariffs are adding thousands to the cost of every vehicle, pricing American cars out of the market and handing the advantage to competitors abroad. But let's build the suspense here. What if I told you this was predictable? Experts warned years ago that blanket tariffs would backfire, raising costs for American companies that rely on global parts. GM itself begged for relief, saying these policies could force job cuts and less investment here at home. Yet Trump doubled down, quadrupling tariffs on autos from key partners, turning allies into adversaries and igniting a full-blown trade war that's now engulfing our economy. In Michigan, the heart of auto country, progress made in recent years is unraveling. Factories that were humming are now hushed, and workers who voted for America first are feeling the sting first. One insider leak suggests Trump's inner circle is in panic mode, with emergency meetings scrambling to spin this as a temporary setback, but the shutdowns are real, and the job risks are mounting by the hour. Dive deeper with me into the human cost, because this isn't just stats, it's stories that will break your heart. Take Sarah from Detroit, a single mom who's welded frames at GM for 15 years. She's staring at pink slips, wondering how to feed her kids as the plant doors close. Or Mike in Ohio, a supplier whose business is tanking because GM can't afford the tariff-inflated parts anymore. These are the faces behind the 50,000 at-risk jobs. Folks who believe the promises of booming factories and endless opportunities. And the suspense thickens. What happens when these layoffs cascade? Local economies crumbles, schools lose funding from shrinking tax bases, homes foreclose, and communities that were rebuilding after past recessions slip back into despair. Trump's reaction: explosive rants about hammering China, but insiders say even he's stunned as factories close there too, yet the pain here is immediate and brutal. Hold your breath as we expose the bigger picture. This trade war isn't winning. It's wounding America from within. Tariffs have already vaporized up to 320,000 factory jobs, according to Fed research. And GM's latest profit plunge of 35%, erasing $1.1 billion, is just the tip of the iceberg. Trump's tariffs are like a tax on every American, adding $2,500 to the price of a new car, making EVs and hybrids unaffordable just as the world shifts green. China, meanwhile, is pouring $230 billion into their auto sector, racing ahead while we bog down in self-inflicted chaos. And get this, GM suspended its guidance and froze buybacks, signaling deeper cuts ahead, with whispers of more plants shuttering if tariffs persist. Trump's furious, but his policies are the arsonist here, lighting fires that could burn through the economy like wildfire. As the drama unfolds, questions swirl. Will Trump backpedal before it's too late? Will he double down, risking a full recession where iPhones cost $2,300 and everyday goods skyrocket? Sources say he's already firing BLS chiefs for bad job reports. It's digging in on tariffs that threaten services industries employing 80% of Americans. The suspense is killing us. Will Congress intervene? Will workers rise up? One thing's clear. This backfire is exposing the cracks in America first, turning promises into pitfalls. But wait, there's a twist some. Insiders claim GM's moves are a tariff dodge, reshoring jobs in a desperate bid. But the numbers tell a different tale. 21,000 auto jobs vanished last week alone. Trump's touting magic rebuilds in the Carolinas, but for autos, it's mayhem. Families like those in Ingersoll, Canada, tied to U.S. ops, are hit too, with temporary halts blamed on low demand from tariff hikes. The clock's ticking. If these shutdowns stick, 50,000 jobs could vanish like smoke, sparking unrest in swing states that could reshape politics. Zoom out to the global stage, where Trump's war risks undoing alliances, sowing fears of worldwide recession. Detroit's automakers, hammered by tariffs on every corner, are pleading for sanity. But the White House is in denial mode. Suspense builds as earnings calls get delayed, layoffs accelerate, and whispers of bailouts echo. Remember when the government saved GM before? Now, Trump's policies might force another, but this time, it's not a crisis from outside. It's a homemade disaster. Folks, this is the moment where the rubber meets the road. Literally, Trump's going nuts, but the real madness is ignoring the warnings. If we don't pivot, those 50,000 jobs are just the start. With ripple effects hitting your wallet, your community, your future, share this if you're outraged. Subscribe for more explosive truths, and comment below. Is Trump's trade war a backfire or a betrayal? Hit that like button if you want accountability. Together we can demand better before it's too late.